If you're afraid of heights, this might not be the trail for you, but if you can stomach it, you are going to really love this trail because it is so much fun. It's extremely beautiful and it's not that hard. It's only a 3 on the difficulty scale, but right here is the thinnest part of the trail that does feel a little bit sketchy. Like on this video, it doesn't look too bad, but man, when you are in the driver's seat, it feels like you're about to fall off the cliff. And the rest of the trail is really great too. I mean, it's beautiful views the whole way. You can do the entire thing in two-wheel drive. It's really wide with some soft sand, so you can really pick up some speed. So it's a fast-paced trail. We got really lucky because we timed it to come to the very end of the trail at sunset. So Chicken Corners at sunset is a bucket list trail. And now, let's dive into the full trail guide. All right, welcome to Chicken Corners. This trail comes right after Hurrah Pass, which is right after Kane Springs Road. So this is going to be my trail vlog 22 on my road to 500 trail vlogs. Kane Springs Road and Hurrah Pass are the two prior to this. So please go check those out if you haven't done this, because if you're doing this trail, you actually have to do those first. Right off the get-go, I was thinking, man, this looks like the Grand Canyon. Obviously, it's not as vast and wide and big, but you've got an amazing river off to the right, some beautiful red rocks to your left. I mean, this is just insanely gorgeous. All right, so a little bit about this trail. It is 11.36 miles long. Duration is about 2 hours one way, so this is an out and back trail. It literally comes to a dead end, you're gonna see, and it's got an amazing view with an amazing payoff. We actually get there right at sunset. I mean, it was perfect timing. We got so lucky, but just be prepared that it is an out and back. It's not a loop. Trails Off-Road is the app that I use all the time for all this information, but they give it a 3 out of 3 on the difficulty scale, so that's a moderate. Honestly, anything with off-road tires or even all-terrain tires, I think you're going to be fine as long as it's what they call a high-clearance vehicle, which I actually looked up the definition recently, and that's like a 9-inch ground clearance. So any standard SUV should do just fine on this. There's nothing too difficult, but I'll be sure to point out those sections in this video as they come. And so this is a part that isn't quite difficult, but it can be dangerous. I mean, you see the cliff down to the right. You do not want to go over that. And there's some blind corners here, so please just be careful. Stay to the right when you can, especially if there's someone in oncoming traffic. Just pull over and stop and give the person some space if they're going by, because you want to be careful. And I know this can get really busy out here. We had the place pretty much to ourselves, but it's because we went at the very end of July when it was still hot. But if you're going in the popular time, I imagine this could get pretty packed. So just be careful and always be mindful of oncoming traffic. All right, do you guys remember the scene from Star Wars A New Hope when R2D2 escapes and he's like running away looking for Obi-Wan and the Jawas are like Houdini and they blast him? This to me reminds me of where that scene was filmed. One thing you're gonna notice is the trail constantly bounces back and forth between this like open, smooth, sandy trail to a slightly slower going, bumpy, rocky trail. But it's essentially like that the entire way. It just kind of bounces back and forth between the two. This was a fun little playground. It was like a wide open sand area. It reminded me of the sand dunes. I spent a lot of time like in high school and college going to the Oregon sand dunes in Florence. It was a little taste of that because I haven't been on that in quite some time. So it was fun. We did a couple little laps and loops on it. You know, this Jeep's not the most powerful, so I'm not really spinning donuts or doing cookies, but it was a good time to get out here and just feel how soft and smooth the sand was to play around. Probably a little bit better if you had a side by side, you know, one of those turbo R's or something like that. You could really get up some speed. All right, so while this is not hard, it's still the hardest thing so far on the trail, to give you an indication. So if you can do this, you can do everything up until this point without any hesitation. Now, if you don't want to do that, go to the right side. You can see the trail, how flat and smooth it is. You can literally go right around this. So, do I even need to mention how beautiful this is here? I mean, you actually see me, I kind of start to go straight and miss the path, so I got to veer back onto the trail. I was literally just mesmerized and looking out at the awesome views because it is super gorgeous out here. There is just so much to look at, so many places to stop, catch a view, but honestly, you're just going to keep going because trust me, the views only get better from here. All right, so I said I would point out when the trail gets a little bit harder. And this is another one of those spots. So you can go right here if you'd like. It definitely is a little bit harder than the other option, which if you look at the upper right part of your screen is just a flat trail. Again, this in itself is still a 3 difficulty, but you don't even have to do this if you don't want. But I always like to try to do the hardest parts of the trail, even if they are not technically difficult. All right when you start coming around this bend, I think, are going to figure out why they call it chicken corners because it gets pretty thin. It's like a single track. You're not letting someone else go by here. This is the thinnest part of the trail, and there's a cliff straight down. So go slow, take your time. And honestly, I mean, the trail is thick enough to where it's really not an issue, but it can get in your head a little bit mentally if you let it. And if you're afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of heights, so it didn't really bother me, but I know some people are. I know if my wife was on me on this trail, she would be freaking out. But it's a lot of fun. Take your time. The views are amazing, so try not to get too distracted by those. This is the thinnest part of the trail, and honestly, I thought it was pretty thrilling. But from the bird's eye view, I think you can tell there's actually quite a bit of distance between the edge of the trail and the cliff. It's not like you really have any threat or risk of falling off the cliff unless you're being a total idiot, going too fast, or trying to get over to the right because someone else is coming the opposite direction. Just don't be an idiot, and you're going to be totally fine. Eventually, you're going to come to a dead end on the trail, and you're going to be greeted with this view. It's amazing. We arrived right at sunset, which was perfect. It was the best way we could have ended this trail. And another thing that made it really special is that this was the final trail on our 3-day Moab trip. If you guys have any questions about this trail, please leave it in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them the best I can. And also, if you guys have done this, let me know. What did you think about this trail?
This trail is not going to challenge you, and that's not what it's for. It's to just get out, have an easy trail ride, and just have amazing views the entire time. I loved it. Add this to your list, guys. And like, subscribe. We got some more videos coming for you soon. Thanks.
I got a little bonus clip right here. This is the 360 cam going back through the really tight spot on the trail. And I apologize, it's definitely a little bit bouncy, but this gives you a good idea of how tight the trail is as well.